Welcome, this is Ute Lambrecht, and today's topic is the difference between what it feels like to get an insight than what it feels like to make things up or to imagine things. So just to lay the basis here, imagination is really important to create our lives. We use that to create the future in our life. But sometimes we want to actually get an insight. And it's not always so clear. What is it? Did I get an insight or did I just make it up? So I don't have my third eye wide open where I just can go into there and see things in the future or in a different timeline, wherever I want to look at. So the way I do that is, the short answer is I use my body of feeling. So those are terms I made up because I just don't know the language. There's just no language for this. But I wanted to share this because I hope that maybe it will help you. And I'm going to give you an experience of what that feels like rather than me just telling you about it. And that's what this video is about. So to start off, a feeling is different from an emotion. The way I see it is a feeling is actually very unemotional, and it's when a feeling is triggered from our past and information that our brain brings to that feeling, that you add an emotion to it. And I'll just give you an example here. So if you imagine you're just seeing a wall that is painted green, and I'm using a color because mostly it's not triggering anything. So when you see a green wall, it sort of gives you a certain feeling. There's some feeling that this is green, this is what it feels like. And it's not that you feel, oh, it's nature and bring all that story into it. It's just the color green just gives you a certain feeling. Now just imagine you see another wall and it's orange, it's painted orange. Can you see the difference? Can you feel the difference between orange and green? Obviously, in your mind's eye, you can see the different colors, but it also gives you a different feeling. And I've noticed that I see things. And can you also see that there is no emotion attached? It's just green or orange. There's nothing attached to it. It's totally unemotional. You just know that's the color. Now, with the body of feeling, I use that type of feeling that in my discernment between whether I'm making it up or whether it's an insight. Now, the body part implies that there's something slightly separate from us that is giving me this information. And here is an experience for you to actually experience the separate body, which obviously isn't totally separate from us. But I hope you will understand what I'm getting at after this experiment. So I want you to imagine something you did this morning or yesterday which was totally mundane, something really, really simple, something that doesn't trigger you. So for instance, when you brushed your teeth, when you had your first cup of coffee or drink or juice or water, whatever, or when you went out of a room, or when you got out of bed, something really simple. All I want you to do is see yourself doing that and know that that's exactly what happened. And if you need some more time, just stop the video here and just think of a time this morning or yesterday when you had that, where you absolutely can say, yes, this is what happened. Now, I'm going to analyze what you've just seen. So firstly, we think that we have recreated that experience. But that's actually not true. You cannot see yourself, and yet you know that's exactly what happened. So if you cannot see yourself, you must have right now sent a different part of you in this moment to a different timeline, or when this event happened, this very mundane event happened, you sent I call it the feeling body, to that time to look at yourself, to experience and see that image. And the fact that as I said, you are looking at yourself means it must have been something else that is there. And the other thing that is interesting is that when you did that, you had a certain feeling. It wasn't an emotion, you just had a feeling that was totally neutral. And that always happens when you send your body of feeling somewhere. You always get a feeling back of the situation, and as I said, I call it feel seeing. And you get that information back, and as long as you stay in that non-emotional state, you're good to go. As soon as you want to change it, and I bet you have had this experience where you suddenly change it and make it do what you want it to do, that image, you've lost it. And when I get to that point where I'm like, it's lost, I actually have to stop. I cannot even try and go back anymore, because emotions are always so much stronger than this neutral feeling. So the other thing that also is interesting is that, and try this out, you will never ever get to the same, you cannot see something from the same vantage point that you actually saw it when you experienced it the first time. I haven't been able to do it. I can put myself really, really close to myself and try to look at it, but it's always slightly off. You always have a slightly different perspective, different angle of viewing the object that, for instance, you are looking at. And we do this all the time, right? When we have misplaced our keys or our glasses or a book, you sort of trace back your steps, but you're doing it in this moment, and you're sending a part of you to that point. It's not that you're recreating it. And you can use that same principle to go into the future. It takes practice, and it takes, you really have to start stalking yourself. And with stalking, I mean, you have to be super aware of whether you're really neutral or whether you want things to be a certain way. As I said, as soon as you want things, you might as well abandon it. It's not okay. It's not an insight anymore. It's muddled. So that is how I see things. That's my technique. I give it to you in the hope that it makes sense to you, and maybe you can use it as well. So until the next time, I really look forward to connecting with you again. Bye-bye.